So the Wallabies in England at Twickenham doesn't get much better than that in terms of international rugby. Shep, Timmy, what's at stake this weekend, apart from the obvious pride?
Well, the number one thing is Rugby World Rankings, isn't it, Timmy? And that vitally important sixth place, which means you're going to get basically the top of your own pool. If you finish in seventh, now you're looking like you're going to get folded into one of the other top six pools at the Rugby World Cup, making your chances of moving through that little bit more difficult. So
I reckon if you win this game late on Sunday, early on Sunday morning for the Wallabies, you're going to be in the top six. You lose this game, you've got a big chance that you won't make the top six. Wallabies make the top six for the World Rankings on the 3rd of December. You'll get to a semi-final of the Rugby World Cup. You fall outside the top six, I reckon you're going to make a quarter, and that's as far as you're going to go.
Trouble.
Well,
it'll be too hard for you.
We've spoken at length and ad nauseum about what the world rankings mean and looking at Australia and the permutations. This weekend probably means more for England because they lose to Australia at home. That's big points. A team below you on the ladder. But also, England have got New Zealand and Argentina as well as Fiji to come on this tour. So there's potentially more for them to lose.
Tough games.
So probably harder for England, but they're in the top six, where the Wallabies aren't. So it's such an important game for the Wallabies to break into that top six. Because otherwise, if you fall out of that top six, you're not going to host a pool stage. So there's 6 pools in Rugby World Cup in 2 years' time. So it's a really important game, this one, for Australia. Probably one of the most important ones in the last 12 months.
And of course, the pool draw for Rugby World Cup 2027 happens on December 3rd, and you'll be able to catch it live on Stan Sport, and 9 Now will bring that to you on December the 3rd. Looking to this week, Steve Borthwick has already named his side, his English 23, to take on the Wallabies. And interestingly, he said during the week that the Wallabies, have had 4 months together. We've only got 4 sessions. Do you think he's making early excuses?
Making early excuses or just calling for what it is. I think you look at their preparation and it's spot on. They only had 3 sessions last week, and then they had to go back to their Prem clubs, and then they came back together on Sunday night. So it is a very limited preparation. I think Joe Schmidt would say the same thing for the Wallabies if we were in that case. And yes, the Wallabies have come off quite a long period together, which I think is going to be helpful. Does that give us an advantage? I'm not so sure, Timmy.
Yeah, it's interesting the side that he selected. You know, when you select George Ford at 10, I would have thought they would have gone for Marcus Smith, but they've left him out. Finn Smith on the bench. So that's an interesting call. So George Ford's a wonderful player. Pretty much, you know, the way that he can run this side, he's a talker, but he kicks a lot of ball away. So I reckon that's why they've picked him, to put a ball in behind the Wallabies.
I think it's a little bit of consistency as well, Timmy. You know, in this recent tour of Argentina, he was the predominant fly half during that. He also toured the United States with them. You know, you're looking at a guy, 102 caps, 71 wins in that, 438 points. He's been around for a long time, the 32-year-old. And maybe Marcus Smith, they just thought wasn't the right balance we needed in this game. Interestingly enough, the centre pairing is going to be a bit of a change to Northampton Saints, as Tommy Freeman moving into 13. He hasn't played a huge amount there.
I think that's just his second test this weekend at 13.
Yeah, that's right. And Fraser Dingwall, well, he hasn't played a huge amount there either, but they do have that consistency of both playing for Northampton. So, you know, it's an interesting lineup, I actually think, that England's put forward. There's some opportunity there, particularly in the backline for the Wallabies to single out some guys.
Just staying on Marcus Smith very quickly, I actually thought when Owen Farrell, you know, left England to go and play over in France, I thought Marcus Smith, he was this next generation of to give a game plan some width and also spark England, rather than playing this sort of conservative game under Owen Farrell. But I reckon it's a shame he's not there. Hopefully he's there in the next couple of test matches.
Well, he's a line, as we know. There's 12 of them in this match day 23, 6 of them starting, 6 of them on the bench. 2 of the biggest, literally, in stature, as well as name, Murrow Itoje, Ollie Chessum at lock. That's going to be a fascinating battle for, we expect, Nick Frost and Lukan Solokai-Lotto. And both those players know these two very well from July. I reckon Lukan's really going to get up close and personal with these two. He's going to love it. He's had the opportunity to play against them, was it 3 times for the against the British and Irish Lions on the tour, and that's the way that Lukan plays. And you'd expect that Lukan will get an injection with his rib cartilage, because they're really hard to play with it if you don't get them injected. So it's pretty tough from Lukan. If he starts, that's a big call from him.
Yeah, interesting to see if he'll play. And Canham obviously got that head knock last week as well. changes in the back line for England as well, with Guy Pepper. He's ground his way into the team ahead of Curry.
In the back row.
Yeah, he did in the back row.
You did everything you could to get that one.
I did. Well, otherwise, if I come up with something like that, it gets stolen. So I've got to quickly get that.
What about Guy Pepper grinding his way into the team, as you said, but then you bring on Tom Curry? What a spicy combo that is.
Stop it. I'm going to walk off set.
And another back rower that's in the team. It's a 6-2 split on the bench. We're going to see this man, Henry Pollock, and he's looking a lot more blonde these days too. You speak about Lucan wanting to get in the face of Toje and Chessum. He is going to revel an opportunity to get in his face.
He'll have a radar on him. Interesting to see Borthwick saying that, he's not playing out the possibility that Pollock ends up playing in the back line somewhere if
he's
he
got
needs
the athleticism too, doesn't he?
Absolutely, he does. Look, he's one of the stars of the future, and I really get excited every time he takes the field with an opportunity to watch him. It's a dangerous-looking side, this England team, but I actually think there's some chinks. If the Wallabies play smart, defensively they love to get up. But it's a bit of rocks or diamonds play sometimes from England. People shoot out of the line. So the way we adapt to that, control the ball, control the speed of our attack, you can cut them up. If you get it right.
Joe Smith's got to have a game plan to get outside of the rush-up defence in that sort of 15-metre channel. They defend really strong, so you've got to get outside that. Once you get outside of that rush-up defence, there's going to be space for Joseph, there's going to be space for the wingers and the cross-field kicks. But if you run into the teeth of that, England are really strong defensively.
Absolutely.
Prediction time, Timmy, how do you see it playing out?
I think it's going to be a tough one for the Wallabies, but I can see them winning it. They just got to be able to play that first 15 or 20 minutes and get some width in their game. Been saying it for the last 3 or 4 weeks. They get some width. Joseph can get some one-on-ones. Jake Gordon's key again with his kicking game. But I can see the Wallabies winning it by 3 or 4 points.
I think the lack of play is going to be tough for England. If you look back at the last few years, that first test in this autumn window that they call it, our spring tour, they never play well. I think the Wallabies are going to shake them up, and I think the Wallabies it'll be close, as Timmy said, but I think the Wallabies will win, and I think it'll be a good performance.
Absolutely cannot wait for this one. Love it. Whenever Australia takes on England, you'll be able to catch all of it exclusively live and on demand on Stan Sport.
Rugby. He's going to get them! Oh, they're cooking!